The EarSauce podcast.
I've been taking wood chip and paper off of walls, and taking wood chip and paper off walls is a nightmare. I burnt myself on a steamer. Like there's sawdust everywhere. It's just hell. So
Sounds like a beautiful time right now, mate. Sounds like a beautiful time.
yeah, you can say that.
Home renovations, right?
Something along the lines. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what that's like. I'm renovating my place and it's an absolute nightmare, but it's worth it in the end.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. It's just taking paper off is like the worst job in the world, but somebody's got to do it.
Are you just using a scraper or use like one of these like heater things that can help take it off as well?
No, I got a steamer, but I was me and my dad was tackling it today in the house, and he was saying the steamer's useless. So what we've been doing is using like a Stanley knife to mark up the wall, and then using a paint roller, sorry, warm water and soap, and then the more you rub that in, the more it seeps into the actual paper and gets the glue off, and it comes off quicker. So like we have two steamers going at the same time, but it's just not worth it. Like it's a waste of money basically.
Interesting. Cool. Guys, air sources. If you ever like trying to peel paper off the wall, now you know, you heard it here first. Using a steamer. Today we've got a special podcast because we've got someone who wants to share their story with us, and we want to hear more about them. We have an artist by the name of Tomboxe that's joined us today.
Hi.
Hey. welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Quick question: is that how you pronounce your name, Tomboxe?
Yeah, it is Tomboxe.
Tomboxe.
Okay. Tomboxe.
Okay, cool. And yeah, I'm here. Matthew, I'm here. Afia's here. Ollie's here. Manny's here. Say hello, guys.
Yo.
Hi.
Wait, who's that?
Cannot be named.
I think that was Ollie. That's safe bet.
Can neither confirm or deny that.
Okay, I'll take that as a yes.
If you're looking for some vocalists on your next project, there you go. He's your guy.
Mate, I used to be a choir boy. I'm gonna hit them high highs.
How long ago was this?
But when I was like 8, 9.
Okay, you're gonna have to practice a little bit for this then.
There you go, Ollie. Get back to where you were back, like 20 years ago. You got an opportunity right there to make your debut, your singing debut. I say we just get stuck right in here, guys. So, who wants to fire off the first question, or even Tomboxe? Would you like to tell us a little bit about you to begin with, maybe?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Take us on a journey.
I'd be interested in like how your formation of Does the Adrian came about as well. Yeah. So.
Okay, so I've been making music since. I mean, it's a typical thing since I was a teenager. Started off in high school. We'd be in the classroom, between classes, just like banging on desks and singing and rapping, and everyone used to get involved. And it was a lot of fun back then. Got into uni, joined the gospel rap group.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, used to do the thing for the Lord, and I never took it that seriously. I just wanted to rap, and it was a great avenue for me to do that. So it was a fun time, but all this was back in Nigeria, by the way.
Okay.
And yeah, I moved back to London about 10 years ago and never really took anything serious. I've been like recording since then, like little bit snippets here and there. Yeah. But the last couple of years, it's been like, you know what? I've got all of these recordings. I should start putting them together, and have like a body of work that I can like shoot out there, let people hear it, let people like see what people like about me, see what doesn't work so well, and just like move from there and like choose like a full direction for my career. And I approached it from the point of view of an outsider. So that's where the name Andrian came from. So that's like So a friend and I were thinking that what if aliens made Android, like Android robots, and she just put it together as Andrian, and she started calling me that. So the story behind Does the Andrian is like, this is me doing myself on my first project, like a lot of different faces of me, but it's all me.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like that. It's quite a cool. To be honest with you, I didn't pick that up from the project itself, but but you explaining it to me, it makes some other aspects of what I heard make a bit more sense actually. So
Yeah, it makes it all come together well.
Yeah.
I think for me, I kind of gathered it because a lot of the samples. Well, there was one sample you used that basically you hear in all the Niger parties. I think what track was that for? Is That Won't Do?
Yeah.
What song was the sample that you used for it? Is it techno?
It was similar to a techno song. So I think it was initially inspired by a techno song, and then I just thought, what direction can we take this? Yeah, and that's just how that came about. That's actually the first song I recorded for the project.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I can really see that song playing in a club. Like, it sounds really nice.
Thank you.
What are some of your who inspires you artistically, musically, going back, let's say 90s, 80s, 90s, through the decades? Who would you say?
Okay. When I was young, I just wanted to be Michael Jackson. That was it. There was nothing else. It was just like I think the first 4 CDs I ever got were Michael Jackson CDs. So my parents just knew, okay, this is a Michael Jackson fan. As I got into my teens, I actually became a lot more interested in rap, and I really liked Eminem.
I love Eminem.
Yeah, the thing is, when I think back about it, I don't know why, because I was this like really nerdy kid who was always buried in a novel, and Eminem was rapping about stuff that's completely out there, and for some reason I felt like I could relate to that. I don't know why.
You know what? So was I. I was that kid too, and I could relate to Eminem too.
It's crazy.
I think because Eminem has a way of making him seem nerdy in some of his raps.
But I think that's rap in general, though. I think that rap takes you on a journey away from who you are yourself at times. So, for example, you have so many people that love gangster rap, but they're not gangsters or live in any type of way in a gangster fashion.
True.
But, you know what I mean? So it's not necessarily. Some people love rap because of it, like reflecting their own life, and some people like it because it's a complete departure from it. So
yeah, true. But then I think going away from that a little bit, I started becoming really interested in the idea of freedom as an artist. So I started gravitating towards Prince.
I knew Prince.
Look at that. That's what Prince was about. He was about freedom. So and it's just a beautiful thing, because you can listen to Prince records and you have no idea where he's going, but he brings it all together so beautifully. And I got really, really attracted to that idea. So the artists I love now are artists that, at least appear to do what they want. They might not actually be doing it, but they sing like it. And I just love that. So I love Anderson .Paak. I love. Oh, he's amazing. I love Janelle Monáe. Yeah. I absolutely love Janelle Monáe. There's a South African artist called Melindo.
Oh, how do you spell that?
Wait, didn't she get on a track with Getz recently as well? That artist?
No, I'm not sure actually. I know Melindo's a guy though. So it's MLINDO.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I just find him. I cannot understand a single word he says because he speaks in Xhosa. He sings in Xhosa, but it's the most marvelous thing when you're not even understanding what's being sung in a song, but it just takes you to a place.
Yeah.
So I'm attracted to people that just I want to hear a song and just go, whoa. So that's really my thing when it comes to music. So nowadays I don't really have that many artists that I follow religiously. But it's more like when I hear that track, recently I heard a track by her and Robert Glasper, Better Than I Imagined, and I heard and I was like, oh whoa, Whoa, this is amazing, you know. It's been a rotation ever since, and that's how I love to approach music.
Okay, no, see, I appreciate that because I feel like nowadays, one of the issues, if you like, with music is that it's more about the stardom, the celebrity of the artist rather than the quality of the music they're making.
Yeah, I hear that.
So what you're saying is that you come from the complete opposite direction, and that's something I completely appreciate because yeah, I really do hate where you have these people that basically become stars, like on Instagram, for example, and then use that as a way of selling music. When they
Yeah,
have no talent whatsoever.
I don't
So
rate
yeah,
that.
yeah. So we're definitely in the same boat there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really cool.
I think it definitely comes across in your. That's the feel I got from your music. It was very. I haven't heard anything else like it. It was very individual. You know, I could feel the personal touches in there, and I very much appreciated it. I really did.
Thank you.
Yeah, and in the visuals too. And I could tell. I felt like you were somebody who was very inspired by artists like this might sound silly, but Seal. I don't know if that makes any sense.
You know, I hear that a lot, and
Do you?
I hear a lot, and I'm not mad at it. I have to say, I'm not mad at it
Well,
because
he's a genius.
exactly, and like, I think "Kiss of a Rose" was one of the first songs I ever tried to like hit the high notes on.
Yeah.
So like, if that's one of my introductions to falsetto, so you know what, I rate that.
Oh well, I think you have a wonderful voice. I really enjoyed your music.
Thank you so much.
I could say, like, I'm not gonna sit here and have you getting plastered with praise here. but I will say, one thing I did appreciate about your album as well was that you clearly weren't trying to chase a sound. Like, you know, there's certain sounds that you could just go for, and pretty much by default, the music will be seen as good music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you didn't do that. It was a very fresh sound, and it was a sound that I think when I spoke about it last week, I said that I can imagine it being played at a barbecue and just be like really nice, chilled music for
just vibing.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
Enjoyable.
So, I hear that.
Yeah. So that is what I will say about that.
I think sorry, can I just cut in? I think it's like the thing that's always been with me because I grew up mostly in Nigeria. Like a lot of people come and go, "You should just do Afrobeats," you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not that," you know? And they go,
Exactly
"Oh,
right.
then you should do R&B." I'm like, "I love R&B, but I'm never going to be one of these. I'm never going to be, you know, a Giveon or someone like that. It's just not me, you know? So I can only do what's real to me."
Yeah.
And that's how I approach it.
But to be fair, like, even though I would say that you don't lean fully into like Afro beats, you can still get that flavor of Afro beats running throughout this project.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think that's what kind of lends like ability to playing this in a club, for example. Like, I'm curious, as an artist, I'm guessing you're independent or are you signed? I'm not really
Very
sure.
independent.
Okay, cool. So as an artist that's gone through its independent journey, how have you found like producing the records, laying the vocals? Because I'm guessing you doing it all by yourself must take a little while, right?
So I used to do everything myself. And what I found is I really, really hate mixing. I hate it. Like once I have to sit down and mix something, I just go, I don't want to do this. So I found a few like studios that I tried out, and like 2-3 times I just didn't like what I was hearing until I finally found this guy called Shane. And like the first time I called him, I said, "Oh, I need a studio recording." What he did was he said, "Come to the studio, bring me some of what you got, and let's have a conversation." And I'm just like, you don't just want me to bring my money so you can record me. You actually want to figure out how to work with me as an artist, and you don't have to do that. And I rated that immediately. And you know, it took a while. I think I've been recording with him for about 4 years, and I think it's in the last year or two that we've like hit a point where I trust him to do what I want.
He just knows what it is that what you're looking for.
Exactly.
So you basically got like Drake and 40.
Something like that. The thing is, the thing is, I make my own beats.
Okay. So you did
So,
just the engineering.
yeah, so what I do is I take them to him and I get him to engineer the beats as well and the vocals. Like, just bring the beats up to a standard where you hear them and you go, oh, this actually sounds like it was done properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one thing that I noticed. The album was very polished.
Yeah.
So like, it's actually
That is
interesting
Shane.
hearing
And
all
that's
of this
something.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's something that me and Ollie always have gripes about. You can have a good song or like a beat that you could tell is good, but when it's mixed badly, when it's not mastered correctly, it just sounds bad and it becomes unenjoyable. Right, Ollie?
100%.
It's sort of like, to put it into an analogy, it's like, say you have a really good dinner, like you cooked up an amazing meal. I'm talking, you got rice and peas, you got chicken, you got plantain, you got dumpling, you got everything, and then someone comes along and pours a cup of water on top of it.
Ooh.
That's what non-mastered music feels like to me. Like at that point, it's just push it away.
Why?
Just leave it. Like I don't want it no more.
Or in Ollie's case, adds potatoes.
Or that, yeah. I didn't want to go that hard, Manny, but that is also another scenario. Yeah, like
Fair.
just yeah.
I think people need to know their strengths. And I think, I know mixing is not something I'm great at. Like, at a pinch, I will mix, but it's not my strength. I will write the amazing song. I will bring the ideas to life, like with my vocals or with my songwriting. But that mixing, I'm not doing it. So, and I think it took me a while to get to that point of being honest with myself and saying, you know what, if I want this music to be the best that it can be, I will need to lean into other people as well.
Yeah. Well, collaboration is one of the things that makes music better. Anyway,
100%.
so yeah.
Yeah, I think that's actually like a really wise thing to do. Like a lot of times people are just like proud and stubborn, so they won't want to like pass off some of their pride to other people. So being able to identify that and just be like, listen, I need someone to finish this off. That's actually a really good step. I think it like shows in your music as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to ask about was the choice of women for your visuals. When I said that you can see the sort of personal touches, so to speak, in your visuals as well as your sound.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I noticed. You use very striking women, but who are not considered mainstream conventionally attractive, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I heard that. I mean, I don't find mainstream attractive 9 times out of 10. So I'm not going to put them in stuff that's my work, I like dark skinned women, it's a thing with me. Like I really do like dark skinned women, but at the end of the day, when I want to make a video, I want the people in the video, to be a reflection of the kind of song I'm making, So it's not just the look, it's the attitude. It's like in the Hide video, there's times where she's like moving around and you can just feel that little bit of tension in the air.
That's what I was picking up on. That's what I noticed.
It was important.
Yeah.
But with Foot on My Neck, which is just a really, really amazing, such a love song, such a lovey-dovey thing. I wanted someone that could portray that feeling of, we're in this together. So that all of that comes into my thinking as well. And I have to say, my director Ezekiel is the most amazing guy because he got both of those girls for the videos, and he's I love his eye. Like I met him on Instagram just randomly, and we started working together just generally. And he's like, you know what, I like your music. Let's make some visuals, and that's how we started working on those. So exclusive, we have a video coming out on Friday.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, wonderful! That's an exclusive.
It's exclusive.
Make sure you send the link. We'll make sure to post it on our.
We will.
I 100% will send the link. It's just me in the video. We shot that in my house, and it's just like, I was like, I have no idea if I'm even gonna like it when it comes out. So it's really like a living on a prayer thing. But I think it's interesting. I think it's a very interesting video.
Did you follow COVID protocols from the video?
Yes, we did.
It has been very interesting watching artists create in these, you know, COVID safe spaces and see what's coming out of that.
It
Some
has
good
been.
stuff come out as
I'm
well.
looking forward to seeing your visuals for sure.
Thank
I
you.
feel like
I
COVID
hope
is
you're
actually
impressed.
pushing. Like COVID is actually pushing the creative envelope as well a lot. So I watched a film this week or last week, sorry, called Locked Down, and
Oh
it
yeah.
was it was completely filmed during the pandemic, and the way they did it is excellent. I thought it was great, but and I've seen the same thing in music videos where you can see that the cast of the videos, if you like, is a lot more limited, and they're trying to isolate the artists a bit more for their protection.
Mhm.
And some of the stuff they're coming up with is really good, so it's good. It's good to see.
Yeah. You know who comes to my mind as soon as you say that? Toby. Agree.
Oh my god, I absolutely
Because
love
immediately you say
him.
that, he's special.
Oh, he is, isn't he? I've been raving
Yeah.
about him. I think the guys are kind of sick of me now. So I'm always talking about him.
At the end of the day, if he's good, he's good. They can be sick of you if they want.
He is, yeah. You know, you were talking about earlier when you were talking about your independence and having that freedom to create, and also the relationship that you have with your producer. That was the
Not
relationship.
with engineer.
Engineer.
Sorry,
Yeah.
the engineer. Sorry. Excuse me, it's been a long day. But yeah, when we were talking about that before, I was actually thinking about him because I think having those relationships with the people in your team close around you, I think it really shows in what you end up creating.
It does.
It's a very good example of that,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah.
So I actually have an interesting question. Okay,
Yeah.
it's interesting to me anyway. So, if you could have 5 artists that you'd like to work with, which 5 artists would they be?
Okay, that is an interesting question. And my first is Andre 3000.
Ooh,
Number one, Andre 3000. I honestly don't care what he might just say, I'm going to play one guitar riff on your album, and I'm happy. I just think he's just he's the most enigmatic, amazing person. And for him to be a rapper and be that is astounding.
yeah, he's multi-talented.
Why
He's a
do you
singer
feel
as
like
well.
why do you feel that to be a rapper and to be so to just communicate? Why do you feel that it's hard to do that as a rapper? It's an interesting question.
I don't know why it's hard, but it's just I think because a big thing about rap is is your aesthetic, is your bling appeal. It's just it's so intertwined with being a rapper that you're about the money, you're about the flashy lifestyle, that when you find someone that's not about that, it's either they're so deep underground you can hardly see them if you don't really shine a light on them, or or it just doesn't exist. So for him to be a multi-platinum selling rapper, a diamond selling rapper, and beat that, it's astounding.
I hear that. I think I would say if anything with him, it's about when he did it as well. He did this back in the 90s.
That's what I'm saying. When he was
that's the peak of gangster
he was
rap.
he was there when during the Biggie and Pac thing.
Yeah. When
Exactly. He was there and he was already wrapping his turban.
Yeah, no, it's true. I feel like nowadays it's easier to be like Andre 3000 and be successful
because we have him.
Back then. Yeah, because of him. Yeah, he opened that door. But previously it was absolutely unheard of. You're absolutely right there.
And you can think about it, he kind of influences people like Young Thug, who then influenced a generation. He is literally the blueprint for.
He is the blueprint.
As a wind up.
But he is the blueprint. No, of course, Young Thug doesn't even compare. But I mean, there you can see that the influence is there.
It was like about a month or two ago. Young Thug was like about Andre 3000.
Yeah, we're not gonna listen to what Young Thug says.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. I know I'm not anyway.
Yeah. All right. So I've got 4 more, haven't I?
Yeah.
Okay. So Anderson .Paak. I've mentioned him already. Anderson .Paak. I want Anderson .Paak to write with me and play drums.
Yeah.
I want him on drums. I want his percussion, because when he starts with that percussion, you're like, oh, this is gonna be a banger already.
His drums are crazy.
They are insane.
Me and Matt saw him live, and that was probably the best performance I saw.
I saw him live as well, and I was like, whoa. I was like, you know what? I rarely get that feeling where you see someone live and you're already waiting for the next one.
He
gave me that vibe. I saw Eminem live and I didn't get that feeling. So Anderson .Paak is something special as well.
He really put on performance. It's a different level.
He was doing the drums, he was singing, he was dancing, he was doing everything.
Everything.
It was incredible, and it was a free concert. and he brought out Dr.
We
Dre.
we went to the same concert, Brixton Academy.
Yeah.
Look at that! Look at that!
Swell.
So I'm saying, amazing. Someone else I really want to work with is I really know.
Ah, yeah, she's got a soulful voice.
There's something. The thing is, I really know will sing the most filthy song, and you will vibe to it in church.
Oh, I
That's
love
exactly what Matt
music
said.
like that.
Wow.
I
It's so
love
true.
music like that.
It's so true.
But that's what, like, I was listening to Shea Butter Baby yesterday, and I think,
Mm.
like, it
The
just hit.
lyrics are filth. The lyrics are filth.
They are filth.
Oh my days! I was walking down the road the other day, listening to that song, and I was singing it, and I was just like, "What kind of filth am I singing?"
This is what I'm saying. Like, it's when you like
Sings it in a
the lyrics,
sweet,
you're like, oh,
angelic way.
exactly. She sings it like an angel. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, I love Ari.
Yeah.
She's great, man.
She's amazing. Someone I really want to work with as well is Koji Radical.
Oh yeah, I like him.
I think
does,
I think he's really dope. I love the fact that he's another one that I feel like he leans into that element of freedom. So like today
Yeah.
he's rapping, tomorrow he's singing, like next day he's doing some falsetto thing, and he just does it. You know?
I feel like you two would have a really good dynamic with each other. Actually, like some artists just like kind of the sounds just would blend well with each other. I think that you two definitely are. An example
I
of
would
that.
sincerely hope so, and I really like he's someone I really really want to work with. Yep. I just realized I have a really long list, but I'm gonna end it with Tiana Major 9.
Oh, amazing choice.
Tiana Major 9 is just. I feel like I know that she's starting to pop off, but I
Yeah.
feel like she should already be popping a lot more than she is, because there's just something about her that
Yeah.
it's just no. She's great.
Yeah, I've been banging out Same Space for, I don't know, maybe every single day for 2 weeks now.
Like, it was when I heard Collide for the first time, you know, like, because I was listening to the Queen and Slim soundtrack, you know, and I hit Collide, and I don't remember listening to the rest of the album. Honestly, that was on repeats for the longest time. I got everyone I know listening to that song. Like my housemate, whenever she hears a line from that song, she's like, "Oh, this is Olu's song."
Wasn't she on the Stormzy album as well?
Yeah,
Yeah. She has a lovely voice.
Mm.
she does.
That's a decent list, you know.
I-
And it wasn't just a case of you going and picking out legends either. It was quite widespread. Yes, quite one good one.
So what's
You
your
go through
process
something.
like when you're songwriting? What is your process like?
Usually, I will come up with a single melody or a single line, and I'd voice record that into my phone quickly. As soon as I get home, I'd like put a snippet of a beat together, and just see, and I kind of push from there. There are times when the song comes in a matter of days, and there are songs that I've been working on for like 8 to 9 years, and I still haven't figured out how to finish them. So I trust the song. You know, there's a song that I think is going to be on the second album that I literally started writing in 2010, and I finished writing it 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
It happens.
Are
It
you-
happens.
Are you a perfectionist, or would you say you're someone that finds it difficult to find your work to be finished? If that makes sense. Like I've got some friends, that they would be like they never see their work as actually being finished because they always see some way that they could improve it. Are you?
I don't really look at. I always feel like whatever I've made, I can make better. So I feel like yes, there's an element of things are unfinished, but at the same time, I've learned to let go.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if you don't learn to let go, you're just going to be
Yeah.
on the same thing over and over again. So nowadays, once I've written a song or recorded a song, I'm like, okay, that's it, it's done. And I move on. If it turns out that I really think I could have really improved it, I usually just trash it.
Oh, really?
Start again.
Yeah, nowadays I don't even start again. I just trash it. That song is gone.
Okay.
And I move to, because I always feel like there's nothing I've done before that I can't do better than. So if I've done something and I don't find it particularly pleasing, or I feel like it's not good enough, I'm just not doing it. I'm just leaving it alone. it's possible that like sometime down the line I'll remember it and I go, you know what, I know what to do now. And if that happens, then I might see if I still have the beat or if I still have the lyrics written somewhere, and I might work on it. But most of the time, I just like completely forget about it.
It's probably a good way of thinking, because at the end of the day, like you said, you would have soaked up that content into you anyway. So for you to be able to essentially regurgitate it in a better way, every something that you can do. So like I think that's a really good way of looking at things, because I've seen artists that essentially just get stuck on one song for like about a year. Well, okay, not that long, but you know what I mean. They get stuck on one item for a long time, or like one picture or one painting or whatever, and it's just, it can really sap away their mental strength.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, I just leave it and move on to something else.
Yeah.
What does the future hold for you, Tomboxe? Like, what is it that you want to achieve in the game, like short term and then medium and long?
So on a real, this first album was me testing the waters. You know, it's me like, okay, I know I'm good. I know I make good music. You know, that's where it starts from. You know, you have to be confident in the music that you make. I know that I listen to my music and I enjoy it. So let's see how many other people enjoy this music. That was the start of it. The thing is, I realized that I really enjoyed the rollout. Like that process of like just sending it to people and getting responses or getting aired, as the case may be. But that process I actually enjoyed. So I'm like, okay, I want to do this again. So for me, it's, you know, I want to drop content consistently. Once, you know, COVID has, you know, shifted on, I want to start touring. I want to start performing. I'm not fixated on like being the most popular artist out there. It's not something that moves me. You know, it's, I think I've gone past, I'm not 21, you know, so it's not something I think about. But, you know, I would like to get my music out to the biggest audience possible and let the people that vibe with it enjoy it. And if that becomes a lifestyle that's sustaining and means I'm able to create music, you know, as a career, that's beautiful.
That makes sense.
How long did this project take for you to put together?
I mean, the first song that won't do, I recorded like 4 years ago. But when I decided, okay, I'm making an album, it took about a year, really. Okay.
And are you currently putting together a new album, or is it a case of you're still going through the rollout, if you like, for this one?
I haven't started recording, but I already know like 3 or 4 of the songs that are going on the next album. So I would say I've started. I'm still rolling this one out because I don't think it's gone anywhere near as far as it should go.
I agree. It's a good album.
Thank you. But also, yeah, I'm also working on the next one because I there are songs that, you know, I'm already really, really excited about. So yeah, for me, this has been an eye opener. You know, I've got to make a few connections. I've connected to you guys. And a few other people, and I think that's the beautiful thing about music. Like this album will always be there. You know, it's out there. It will always be there. So I can move on to the next thing happily, while still, you know, in the background, still doing a little bit of promo for this one.
What?
So
one
I
of
have.
the-
Go
Yeah,
on, Manny.
go on,
Okay.
Manny.
So I have like it's like a 2-part question. So, say there was content you wanted to put on this album, but you cut it last minute. Like, are you someone who believes in doing deluxe albums where you add on the cut content? And then my second question is, when it comes to remixes, are you a fan of remixes? And if you are, would you do a remix with the same vocals on a different beat, or would you just add another verse to the same song? Like, what's your thought process on those two things?
Okay. I don't think I'm not the biggest fan of deluxe albums, to be honest. And it's for a particular reason. So, deluxe albums back in the day used to be area specific a lot of the time. And I remember when Janelle Monáe dropped her second album, was it second or third? It was the one with Electric Lady. She dropped that album and there was a remix to Electric Lady that had CeeLo that was only available in America, in Target. And I wanted the CeeLo mix so bad because I love CeeLo. Yeah, and that just put me off the idea of deluxe albums or special. I don't want to hear any of that. Just drop the album, it's done. That said, there is a song I wanted to put on this that I couldn't, because it's a cover, but I added a rap to it. So I'm still trying to work on getting like that clearance for it. So if I get that, I'm just gonna drop that as a single.
Fingers
Uh,
crossed.
yeah. So to move on to the subject of remixes, I'm open to remixes. I feel like the remix determines what you do on it. You know, there's some songs that you want to like just remix and just have rappers, you know, go over and go ham on it. You know, there's some songs that you think would do well for a dance remix. You know, so it all depends on the approach for the actual song. I mean, some songs can do all of the above. So depending on what I hear, what I hear in the song, I will approach it differently.
That's quite cool. Yeah, I like that.
Interesting.
What was you
So
gonna
I
ask, Manny?
think, I think, like you've answered pretty much a lot of the questions for me. I guess next main question is like, in terms of the reaction, have you had any like feedback so far? Is there anything that I guess you would have changed on the album, or things that you've noticed um post creating it that you kind of feel like you should have changed?
It's funny. The reaction has been really, really positive. Like, everyone who I've sent to who has replied has had something positive to say about it. So it's been really good. Would I have changed anything? I don't think so. I think I hesitated about the track list as it was. Like, there are songs like I wasn't going to put that one do on it because I thought it was too old. You know, and
Yeah,
it's probably the most played song on it. You know, so that just shows how much I know. But I think I don't think I'd change it. I think I've put it out into the world as it is, and it can be appreciated for what it is. You know, I don't believe in going back and like overthinking things like that. You know, I think it is serving its purpose. You know, it's introducing me to people, and it can keep doing that.
that's but in terms of like a structure to the album, did you have one in mind, or would you say that this body of work is just a collection of songs?
It is a collection of songs. You know, it's I'm a very, very I'm an artist that just does a lot of things, and I didn't really think, you know what, I'm gonna follow a plan for this particular work, and I think it shows in the way the songs like actually come out. I think at the end of the day, my only thing was this album is about love. You know, so I think that
Yeah.
shines through. So almost every song is a love song. You know? But that's it really. I wasn't really about having a structured album. I think I was debating on whether to call it an album or an EP, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? I don't like that dichotomy of it's an album, it's an EP. It's 9 tracks that can be enjoyed in sequence. Let's enjoy it for what it is.
No, that's fair enough. Cool, guys. Do you guys have any more questions?
No,
Um,
none from me.
What's your favorite food?
I
And what's
like.
your star sign?
Okay, star sign first. I'm a Capricorn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when was your
Capricorn
birthday?
gang.
January 18th.
Oh,
So I'm right at the end of Capricorn.
oh well, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Happy belated.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy
Thank you.
belated.
Favorite food? I don't know. Like, I think I'm with food where I'm with music. Like, just excite me. I think I tend to fall back on chocolate.
Oh, don't we all?
I tend to
Is
just
that
fall back.
you when you're in the studio, just like eating chocolate rather than eating a milk?
Honestly, in the studio, I don't eat a lot in the studio. I'm usually too excited. So I'll have snacks. I'll have like Marks and Spencer's chocolate digestives.
Oh, okay, good choice.
All
I
right.
think
I
they're
like
better
that.
than McVitie's.
Ooh.
Not just
I'm not
any
tried.
digestive.
I've not tried the Marks and Spencer's ones. I have to try them out.
I think they're better. Personally, I think they're better than McVitie's. So that's what I have in the studio almost every time, and then I'll have like tons of coffee.
Oh, okay. So
Um,
I have a question actually. Do you eat fufu?
No,
Really?
so I eat all types of swallow except fufu.
Okay.
So I love pounded yam.
Yeah.
Like when I was growing up, I was in boarding house, and when I would come home for the holidays or for a weekend, my mom would make fresh pounded yam, like literally pounded yam, not like
That's
turned yam.
nice.
And it's just like it's just the most epic thing. And the thing is, you get the itis from pounded yam. Like you just go to sleep straight. That's it. You're knocked out, and you wake up happy.
Yes, you do.
I literally just learned this week that Nigerians call their equivalent of fufu swallow. I always thought it was like ngusi and stew, but I didn't actually know there's like a slang term called swallow. I learned that this week.
Because we have various types of swallow, and fufu is one of them.
Yeah. You guys have something that's slightly more common on yours. For example, you guys might use green bananas, and we might use something else.
Yeah, so they're different. Yeah, exactly. So we do different things. So
okay. So I have one more question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite soup to go with your swallow?
Egusi, 100%.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
That one's definitely always going to be the answer, isn't it? This one's more controversial.
All right, before we get to controversy, can I just say there are places that they make efforiro, which is different, that can outweigh an egusi, but you can usually trust egusi, which is why I go for it.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. I love that. I'm trying to get these Caribbean guys in the pod to try some African cuisine. I'm not sure if they'd like fufu, but you know.
You never know until you try.
Yeah, you never know.
Tomboxe, one question, Nigerian jollof or Ghanaian jollof?
Is that a trick question? I mean, seriously, if you have ever, stopped on the side of the road, ordered like 100 naira worth of jollof.
No, you're a songwriter. I like you're spicy.
No, I'm serious. If you've ever done that in Lagos, you will never talk about Ghanaian jollof again.
My God.
No.
Listen,
wait. I got one.
Just say this. Go on.
Yeah.
Caribbean food or African food?
Come on, man. That's
please.
That's not even a question.
That's not even fair. That's not even fair.
Caribbean, right? All right, cool.
We have
I have to say,
when Ollie said plantain, I imagine that really pissed you off as well, Tomboxe.
you know what? I'm above that now.
Oh, okay, that's good.
What, instead of plantain?
I'm above that now. I've told you. What I would say is, Nigerian restaurants don't serve rice and pea. Jamaican restaurants serve jollof. That's all I would say about that.
I'll tell you what, you guys have the most amazing street food. I saw this thing where it's like 2 thick slices of sweet bread, and you just put so much stuff in the middle. I don't even know. I don't know exactly what it's called. I can't remember, but it looks incredible.
The thing is, we have so many different variants. That is Ghanaian. That's more Ghanaian than Nigerian, though. But we have so many variants.
That's called chibom.
Yeah, chibom.
I've never had it.
That's Ghanaian.
Is that any better than a patty and cocoa bread?
It's patty and cocoa bread came from chibom.
Moving on.
So now we're telling fairy tales.
Moving on from the EarSauce podcast.
I know, right?
Let's get into our first review. So, to be fair,
hold on, Tomboxe, I'm not sure whether or not you've had the prep, so I don't know if it's fair if you want to stay on this.
I did say I'll stay for a bit, and if I have to leave, I'll let you know.
Okay, cool, man.
Cool.
Actually, before we go, can we just, Tomboxe, can you quickly just reconfirm, the name of your album and where it can be found, like what platforms?
Okay, so Tomboxe has just dropped Does the Andrian, and it's available everywhere.
There you go. Grab it. Go on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music.
Listen,
wherever else.
It's on SoundCloud, it's on Audio Mac, so people who don't have accounts can actually still enjoy the album. It's everywhere.
Wonderful,
Awesome,
thank you.
Lovely. Okay, so the first project that we settled, I think the only project we actually listened to this week was Kid Laroi project, which is called Manny. What was it called?
I want to say it, but I don't want to piss off Tomboxe. It's called F Love.
I mean, if that's how he feels, that's fine. But I mean, he is 17, so That's all he knows at
Yeah,
this point.
true.
So I'm going to kick this one off, right? Because I think Manny picked this album because he knows that I wouldn't particularly like it, and so no. But I will say this though, it wasn't. I went into it thinking I'm just going to just get through it and whatever. I'm going to talk about it in the podcast, but it actually wasn't that bad.
Mm.
Um, I accept that. I always say this: some music's just not made for me. It's not made for my age. He's 17. I'm not 17. I'm like a lot older than 17, right? And I don't appreciate that sort of music the way I appreciate music from yesteryear, and from other artists, right? He's an auto-tune singer, and from what I hear when he is auto-tuning, I'm assuming he's not actually a good singer. Like, the reason why T-Pain sounded so good on auto-tune is because he could actually sing. Um, I I didn't really pick that up from Kid Laroi project.
Did you? I thought he
I,
had
I
all
will
right
say,
vocals though. I didn't think it was terrible.
no, that's right. I never said it was terrible. It
Oh,
wasn't
I
terrible.
thought it was
And
awful.
to be honest with you, I liked some of the songs. I genuinely liked some of the songs on his
Yeah.
project. It was a let's put it this way: if it was really bad, I just wouldn't have listened to the whole thing. I would have stopped. But that wasn't the case at all. I actually enjoyed quite a few tracks, and again, even more surprisingly, I'm not I know it. Like, rest in peace, Juice WRLD. Everyone had a massive public outpouring when he died, and his sales are crazy. I wasn't a massive, or I really wasn't a fan of Juice WRLD at all. But their track together is really, really good, and yeah, it's just like it was just really interesting to listen to that song, which is called Go, and appreciate it as a good song on an album where I wasn't really expecting anything from it. I noticed there was a few samples from classic tracks, and I think he probably took that out of Juice WRLD's playbook, because that's how he kind of shot the fame, by covering the Police song,
Sting.
or yeah, Sting, the Police, whatever. But yeah, it was a decent album, really. I can't say it was rubbish. It was a good album. It was decent. I wouldn't say it's particularly good. It was average, in my opinion.
Category.
And yeah, the best song was probably Go.
I'm gonna go next. So much like Matt, I had no hopes for this album. So what I'd done was I turned on my Xbox, I turned on Assassin's Creed, I put it on mute and listened to this song. And album, I actually stopped playing the game because I actually really got into it. He kind of reminded me of Post Malone. I don't know if anyone feels the same, but like a better version of Post Malone. Me personally, I can't really stand Post Malone, but there's a few songs of his that I like. But I kind of like this kid's music. Much like Matt, I can't relate to it, and it's not something that I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, that gets me my feels. And I noticed a couple of those tracks are TikTok tracks, which makes sense given how popular he is. But it is actually a good album. I like the Neo So Sick ripoff. That was quite good. Um, I really enjoyed that song. The Juice WRLD song was quite good as well. It was just I listened to the Savage Mode one as well. I forgot to say. So that's got an extra 7 tracks. So it really rounds out the whole listening experience. And yeah, it was good. I liked it. I liked it quite a lot, more than I'd like to admit. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like it's like a palatable version of Post Malone. Like if Post Malone made good music, like he's got the weird auto
Um,
tuning, singing, a bit of rap. Like the production was there. It was just everything was good.
I'm
Not
really
great, but good.
Fair enough. Would you say that this guy is someone that heavily influenced by Post Malone, and probably, like, Post Malone's first child, maybe?
I
I
think
think
he's
he might be, you
heavily.
know.
I think he's heavily influenced more by like the likes of Juice WRLD and
Well,
like
Juice WRLD was his mentor,
Lil
so
Uzi.
can,
Yeah,
can,
like
can someone enlighten me on when where did this kid come from? Was he on social
you know
media?
full well where he came
no.
from.
So
You know
no,
full well where he came
basically
from.
the story. Basically, when Juice WRLD was on tour, he took him under
Mm-hmm.
his wing. When he was on
Where
tour in
was Juice WRLD on
Australia.
tour?
But
Yeah.
before then, how was it from social media that he blew up?
Oh, so basically,
He
when
was
a man
born.
loves a woman, I'm not gonna continue.
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna continue. I'm not gonna continue. I don't actually know. I don't. I went into this listening blind. I know nothing about the kids. I didn't even know Juice WRLD took him under his wing.
I did a quick Google. My understanding is that he was already bubbling in Australia when Juice WRLD went out there. And I think this is before Juice WRLD was actually like a superstar that he became. So
Ah.
yeah, so he was just he was
But when
a
you say
sporting
bubbling in
actor.
Australia, bubbling where on Australian TikTok? Like
I
where
don't
did
know.
like how's
Maybe
No,
bubbling on the
like
mean
it's
streets of Sydney.
on the music scene. Like I think he did the work. He was he
how
released
could
an EP
yeah, no, the reason I say
2018.
that is because he was 14 at the time or so, right?
Maybe they thought they found a new Justin Bieber. But like I
That's
said,
it.
That's
This is
exactly what I
what
was
I'm
gonna
thinking.
say. It looks like him.
Is he the Justin Bieber? This is how he came across to me, as the Justin Bieber of this sort of like
Emo rap.
genre thing.
so
And that's it. He's a marketed kind of package. I really genuinely think it was just like Justin Bieber invested in this kid. We will put him out there, market him heavy, make some money, and that'll be that.
Are you talking about the machine that Matt loves to talk about, where it goes for a certain demographic of people to
Oh,
pump their
well,
music further?
100%. I think this is just to make, rap music even more accessible, more palatable for middle class white kids.
I have to say one thing here is that I don't think he was even rapping at any point in this project. I thought it sounded to me like he was just singing the whole time. Like
Yeah,
at least I
that was
didn't hear
another
any
thing.
sort of actual rhyming schemes of any real sort. And I honestly I only found out about reviewing this album today, so I had no chance to really real research on the guy, and so I can't even say how much of what he's doing is his own talent. I don't know if he's writing his songs, if he's producing, or whatever he's doing.
So
So
Apple
it's hard
Music
to
tells
say.
you if the person writes it, or it gives a list of all the creditors. And on a lot of the tracks, in fact, every track he was credited, obviously, but there were a few tracks where it had loads of people as attributed writers or whatever.
So if he has
He
people
also
writing for
talks
him,
about
that's not acceptable as a rapper, in my opinion.
also the stuff that he discusses when he talks about coming out of horrible situations in
God,
order to. But I mean, what exactly is this kid's background? Because
the mean streets of Sydney,
do you see what I'm trying to say?
He didn't grow up in
The
Sydney.
music itself is so
Melbourne.
disingenuous.
I know that he grew up. Apparently, he grew up in some rural area. He didn't grow up in Sydney, but I don't
No,
know
he
because
moved
that.
around a lot.
No, that probably makes it worse because a rural area probably isn't going to be that bad, is it? Whereas Sydney probably has got hoods.
Well, no, we
or-
never know. No, there's a
uh,
lot of poverty in some Australian suburban areas, so we don't know. We can't really speculate on that, but I would like to know because the kind of stuff he's talking about sounds very disingenuous. It doesn't sound like he actually has that much experience. It does seem like he's very heavily marketed. The project didn't make sense to me because is it? I had to ask you guys, like, is it rap? Is it? I mean, what is it? Is it emo
This
rap?
is a mix.
wasn't
This is a
rap. It was
mixture of genres. Like it's not just one thing. It's emo rap. It's singing. It's a bit of punk. Like there's loads of different like
So
flavors
I
in
have an
this.
issue with this then because if you're going to be in this industry as a rapper, I mean, what? How does he present himself? Is he a rapper? What is he?
I think he's just a musician.
Yeah, I don't think he does present himself as a rapper. It's just that because his beats mainly sound hip
sound like
hop.
R&B beats. Yeah.
Yeah, R&B hip hop beats. Then that's why he's under the banner of hip hop. But I'm sure if you was to ask the artist, I'm sure he'd say something different. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't
But if
know.
you're using hip hop and R&B beats, then that's kind of saying a lot about you as an artist, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But
Okay.
equally, like you can use like heavy hip hop beats on one track and then go to other genres on the other. It doesn't necessarily dictate the fact that you now belong to this
You know,
one
I,
genre.
I
I
agree with
was
that, but
watching.
the
No,
project
the
was
reason
mainly one type of beat, though.
can I just contextualize my question because I was watching an interview with him where he said he has found his sound. And he's very fortunate to have found his sound, because some people don't even find their sound until their mid-20s. Sometimes they never find their sound. And I was listening to this project thinking, but I don't hear it. You know, you sound like you're still figuring it out, in fact, and that you have a lot of people pulling you in different directions, and none of this sounds very genuine. And that's like, I just did not like it. Can you tell? Can you tell? I was not impressed at all. I don't like this. I think it just, that's me. Not keen on it. It doesn't seem like it comes from any kind of real place at all. And I think it's funny because we're going to be talking about colorism, like, well, something along that line. We're going to be discussing some issues around colorism, and I think this kid is just part of the gentrification of the hip hop industry. And I, for one, I'm not here for it. So that's my opinion. Is anyone going to say anything?
I think it's funny. Like, the only thing I've heard about Kid Lorai is that Elton John likes him, which is not a great endorsement, because Elton John basically likes anybody that kind of is slightly different. So I don't know, man.
I feel Elton John does that because he wants to keep that he
Relevance.
wants to be seen, as
Yeah.
someone that's in touch with what's going on in the youth.
Yeah, he does that all the time, and it's tired now.
And I don't think an endorsement from
Look, I didn't even give.
No, I don't think an endorsement from Elton John when it comes to hip hop should really be taken on board so heavily anyway.
But it's not about that, really, is it? It's about if Elton John says an artist is good, full stop.
It's news.
Go and listen to it. Yeah, exactly.
No, I get that, but I don't know. I just think, it shouldn't hold that much sway if he says this kid is good.
In the hip hop community, it doesn't. In the wider community, it does.
I mean, I'm not listening to the album, so.
All right. Has everyone given a review? Did you give one as well, man?
No, man, he's lost.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I'll give a quick one, because I didn't get a chance. I thought it was an alright album. I didn't think it was as bad as I thought it would be. I like that.
That's not right.
I like that emo sound. But obviously, like, the subject matter, of course, it wasn't in depth because he's 17. And you can tell that this is very manufactured as well. Loads of well-known producers. You've got Internet Money producing tracks. You got was it Marshmello as well producing tracks on there, and the guest features were well done too as well. Like, you had NBA Youngboy on there. I thought his voice was interesting too.
Yeah.
Quite melodic too. Quite melodic. But again, that could be auto-tune. We'll have to see when he starts doing live performances, right?
Still get auto-tune live performances.
But yeah,
it's still auto-tune, live performances.
True. But yeah, I didn't. It was decent, and it piques my interest for his next, let's say next.
Would you guys say that he's found his sound though? Just out of interest.
I don't know what his sound was before, so it's kind of hard for me to say. But it does sound like he's honed in on one sort of sound, one Post Malone sort of sound.
See, that really bugs me as well because he sounds exactly like him.
Fun fact: he's half Aborigine.
Okay, so maybe then, because Aborigine people deal with a lot of, situations.
He's taking the piss, surely.
No, I'm not. He's actually half Aborigine.
Oh yeah, he is.
The Kid Lorai is half Aborigine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You didn't look at it.
What do Aborigine people look like, Matt?
They're usually dark.
They usually are quite melanated.
Yeah.
This guy's blonde hair, blue eyes.
But he's mixed, so
Okay. All right. This guy, he looks like Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber that look like a mixed race kid to me, or guy, whatever you want to put it. So anyway, what's the scores?
Scores, man. I think it's a decent first album, so 3 stars for me. 3 ears, so not 6 stars.
What did I give Jack Harlow?
Well, don't give it what you gave Jack Harlow. Just give it what you
Do you
feel
No,
think
it's
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 better
worth.
than
similar
Jack
to
Harlow.
Jack Harlow?
It's better than Jack Harlow, but it's a 3.
What? I cannot.
You think this is better than Jack Harlow? So
Yeah.
And there was
Trigger
silence
I
in the
think
room.
they're, I think they're
Trigger
very
warning.
similar.
I couldn't. I don't know. I could not even. It was. I listened to this project twice today, and each time I was just like, oh.
But you never finished Jack Harlow. So
Why not?
by admission of finishing, that means to you this album is better than Jack Harlow's.
How do you know I didn't finish it after the podcast?
But that's the point. You tried before the podcast a couple of times and you couldn't do it, and we had to force you to listen to it. I had to tell you it gets better. The grass was
Oh,
greener.
snap! That is so true. No, but you know why? The difference is no. Listen, this is so teeny bopper that I could get through it. Does that make sense?
No.
No.
Afia loved it. Liked it.
Yeah, I feel like it.
Take
She was vibing, and when the So Sick remix came on, she was like, "And I'm still sick." I can picture it right now.
Yeah, that So Sick remix was really good. I like that.
And that was
a
better
good
than what's
remix.
happening on Jack Harlow's album.
I have to say, now that I think about it, yeah, Jack Harlow was really, really bad. Okay. I'll give this one a 2 then.
Oh my god.
I'm starting to think that Afi is just racist. You know. Anyway, there's no way that this album was a 1. There's no way. It wasn't a 1.
You know what I mean?
It wasn't a 1.
That's why
don't
I
understand
threw in
what-
that half
Can I just
Aborigine.
ask
The
you-
in there.
the only album I listened to that was actually a 1 was 6ix9ine's album that he made after he came out of prison, and that
Sorry,
was
that's a 0.
like even that. But the only reason it's not a 0 is because we don't actually give our scores a 1 to 5. So that's the only reason why it's not a 0. Because really, truly, it should have been a 0. But
Fair
Which
enough.
one?
No, there is a 0. Whole lot of red. Whole lot of red got a 0. Without
Yeah.
a doubt, it got a 0.
Oh my god, yeah.
But anyway, my point. I think the Kid Lorai. I think his album wasn't bad. I think it was either a 2 or a 3, and I'm more inclined to give it a 3 because I feel like giving it a 2 would be seen as a negative. I think it was a 3. There wasn't really much to it.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think it was ever. There was never a point where I thought to myself, "Oh, this might be like a really good album." I never ever thought that. I feel like it's a collection of songs that don't really tell a combined story or take you on a journey. It's just a.
Nah, there's definitely a journey there, especially when you listen to the skits.
Okay.
Are we talking
Yeah,
The
about
skits
the
give you a journey, but I
project?
don't think I don't think the songs did particularly, but the skits do take you through like.
Wait, are we talking about the same projects where the first skit, he's with this girl and then he thinks she's been talking to other guys or to his friends or something?
You listen to some jumbled up version because the first skit is a girl calling him saying, "You never."
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. That's the first track.
Oh yeah, okay. I didn't listen to it in order.
That might be why you're not liking it, Afia. 'Cause I'm telling you, you listen to it properly.
No, I played
listen
it
to
in
the
order.
Savage
It's not my
version.
fault. You should
Anyway,
make
my
that.
score is 3. What's your score, Ollie?
It's a 3.
Manny, what did you say?
3 from me as well.
Okay.
That was 3.
3
I'm
3
still-
and a 2.
What did you want to
Standout
give a score on this floor?
songs, So Sick.
I didn't
15
listen
out.
to it, man.
Oh, you
I didn't
listened
listen to it. And to be honest, I feel like if I listen to it, I'm going to come back and be like, Afia, you're right.
No, because there's no substance in it either. That's the thing. The content is trash.
And that's a big thing for me. I want you to hit me where it counts.
Yes,
You
thank
know.
you. These guys are always making fun of me. I'm like, I need the feels. I need the story. Anyway,
Something.
I don't want to
I
think
heard that.
about 17-year-olds shagging and having arguments. Like, keep your domestics to yourselves.
See now you put it that way, it's a bit disturbing.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to know what you're up
But
to.
sometimes you have to take things at like a high level. You know what I mean by that? Like just
Yeah, you
surface
need to
level.
focus
Yeah,
like that.
just like
Oh.
take it for what it is. It's just background music that sounds good.
Just take it like you guys saying planting.
Oh god.
Wait, how do you say mountain?
Don't there. Let's not go. I told you I'm above it. I told you I'm above it.
So anyway,
Matt, how do you say mountain?
How do you say maintain?
let's keep pushing forward, shall we?
Amen.
I know you have a lot of topics there, and I know that some books will probably actually quite appreciate these topics that you want to discuss.
Okay.
Let's start off with a light one. Let's talk about my guy, my favorite R&B singer,
Sugar
Sugar
Trey.
Trey. Sugar Trey was triggered over was it yesterday? Wasn't it? He was finding himself a bit triggered at a football match in America. He basically, I think what was happening is, I think he may be sitting in the wrong section. I don't know, but police officers come over and basically told him to move. He said no, and according to witnesses, the police officer was acting in a completely irrational way, or like, the police officer was in the wrong for sure. But anyway, what happened was that he went to forcibly move Trey's songs, and Trey was not having it. Trey said, not today. And he basically had the police officer up. I think there was a couple of punches, and then he actually had the officer in a headlock, choking him out before additional security came along. Yeah, they had to get a whole squad to come and move Trey songs out. And I always say this, right?
Wow.
You cannot mess about with these R&B guys. A lot of the time, these rappers, these gangster rappers, are not really about this life, and when they're really tested, they flake. They don't want it. But these R&B guys, they are on all the smoke. They want it. They if someone tries them, they on fight him. It's mad. And Trey was on it that day. So yeah, that's what happened with that. Did anyone else see the video of what happened?
Yeah. Do you think that that's an overcompensation thing? Because I feel like Chris Brown overcompensates a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, I think in general, R&B singers, because of the music they make, they're
I
people
actually
who
think
try to do their
Trey's an
stuff.
emotional guy, and that's why he gets angry like that. So that's what
I
I
don't
think.
think there's anything. I don't think that there's any lie in that. I think it's true. I think to
Yeah.
be an R&B singer, especially if you are actually writing your lyrics and all that sort of stuff as well, you have to be in touch with your emotions, right? You can't pen
We
these
got specialists
lines.
there. We can ask our specialists.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that's true? Do you have to be in touch with your emotions?
100%. If you're not in touch with your emotions, then it's not genuine. It's not R&B. R&B is about the heart. You know.
Exactly. That's why. And if anything, right, these rappers, they're not really in touch with their emotions. That's why they're able to just chat a whole lot of shit and and say that, knowing full well that when they actually with a woman that they really care about, they wouldn't behave that way.
They different.
Exactly.
A lot of them are not able to touch with reality.
Look at 21 Savage. When he was with Amber Rose, he was simping differently, bro. He went to a slut walk with Amber Rose, right? And I'm not saying there's something wrong with the slut walk itself, but if you're 21 Savage and you write in the sort of rhymes that you write and how you're gonna kill any nigga on sight, whatever, and then he was out there,
God.
I was like, this guy was moving differently.
But are you surprised though?
For Amber Rose, I reckon she's got some magic gems up inside her. She's got the meaning of life inside her. But so
I'm just not surprised. Like I just feel like 90% of the industry is not about that life.
and the thing is though, with 21 Savage, he's actually done stuff that makes it confirm. It confirms what he talks about is true, right? But I agree with you that 90% of the industry is not about that life, and it's actually crazy that you see people accept what they say so much as at face value. They don't really do any. They don't test it. Essentially, I'm not saying I want to see rappers get into like physical confrontations with time to test their gangster, but there's a lot of people out there that are just like they really haven't got anything behind them. They just talk a lot of shit, basically.
Yep.
But yeah.
Well,
I'm sure you've got more interesting things to talk about though, Afia.
I believe he's being he was arrested, wasn't he? And he was charged. So, and
Yeah,
I think it's
he
a
got
felony
released, though,
charge as
same day.
well. So we'll just hope for the best for him, because in my personal opinion, I think he was defending himself. I don't think he did anything wrong.
Sugar Trey did nothing wrong, man. He was triggered.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, I can't.
What
I,
else
I
has
can't.
been happening
I
in the
can't. I can't
States?
deal with this guy going to prison though. He's like my favorite R&B artist, so I
What?
don't want him to go. He's my favorite R&B artist.
Over Chris
What?
Brown?
What?
Chris Brown don't even make R&B anymore. Chris Brown makes dance music. Please just stop with that one, okay? And
Yeah.
and and
Not
and
sure.
if we talk about like the best of all time, we can't even talk about him anymore. So
Yeah,
I can talk
fuck
about
that
him.
guy. No, fuck that
What?
guy.
You can't
You can
talk
only say
about.
fuck that guy.
No, I listen to.
he's
I
like,
still listen to his music, and I'm gonna continue to listen to his music because I can separate the man from the music.
I
Yeah, I
can't.
can't.
I struggle.
Nah,
I do struggle with that. I do
like
struggle with
if you shoplift, I can separate you from your music.
Yeah,
R.
exactly.
Kelly, I'm not separating R. Kelly from that shit. No, he can go fuck himself.
No, but the thing is, yeah, there was emotional trauma involved. He was molested as a kid,
It's not
and
an
he
excuse.
obviously. It's not an excuse, but there's a reason for why he is the way he is,
It's
and I
not a
feel like
reason. It's not an excuse, and it's not a defense.
I
He has access to the
Yeah.
best therapists. His record label has access to everything that he needed to get him out of that situation. They did nothing, so they are equally culpable. He is culpable
Yeah.
as fuck. I cannot listen to R. Kelly without thinking about what a dickhead he is. So you know what? Nah.
I agree with you
I
100%.
respect that.
I
I
think that
respect that.
I actually do listen to Chris Brown's music from time to time when he features on other artists' songs. But overall, I don't seek out his music, and I think yeah, there comes a point where you have to be an adult and say I have an issue and address the issue, and if you're not,
I will say
you
this
know,
though. Rihanna's forgiven him, so why if she can forgive him, what's the world?
he's done some very trash things since then. It's not just a situation with Rihanna. He has continued to be abusive to women since
And
then.
it's not even about forgiveness.
Yeah,
You know,
Allegedly.
allegedly,
Allegedly.
yes.
allegedly.
Allegedly,
Yes.
but it's not even about forgiveness. You know, if no, I don't believe in canceling people. I believe that if you listen to someone and you become uncomfortable in that process of listening, then you know it's a natural thing. You know,
Okay, I agree with
so
that. I agree
Afia
with you.
said she will listen to him on occasion, like she will listen to him on a feature, but she doesn't seek him out, which is perfectly fine. You know, it's not the same thing as canceling someone because you go, oh, he hit Rihanna, I'm canceling him. That's a very different no.
Okay,
Mm.
now I totally agree with that. Now, like it should never be forced. It should never be by force. If you don't feel natural listening to someone, then don't listen to them. Like I guess for me, like with this podcast, there's so many artists like each week, or usually it's been a bit quiet this year, but usually I'm listening to so many different artists that uh some of them I am kind of forcing them to listen because I think the music's rubbish.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm enjoying what I listen to, and so yeah, I do get what you're saying. What about Tory Lanez though? Where do you sit with him? Like with the whole Megan Thee Stallion shooting or not shooting, depending what side of the fence you're on.
Oh, did you see that he asked the courts to allow him to talk on the case because some new evidence has been accepted, which apparently proves his innocence.
I didn't hear that, but can you send me a link to that? But yeah, what do you think about that, Tomboxe?
I think people are innocent until proven guilty. Yeah. And so I think until this case goes through the courts, I'm not going to make a decision on that. I believe the way he has acted since that case came to light is shitty. So I'm inclined to believe her because of how he has reacted to it. But I'm gonna delay my final judgment on Tory Lanez until the outcome of the case.
Yeah,
Okay.
some of the
I
things. Sorry, I agree with you because there was recently this revelation that apparently his team put out some misinformation that the case was dropped, the charges were dropped or something to that effect, and then Megan Thee Stallion had to come back and essentially defend herself again, and she said this is just a continuation of the trauma that she has already experienced, and he continues to abuse her allegedly, because we haven't been through the court process. We don't know what happened fully yet. But that is a point to take on board.
That Megan Thee Stallion thing is it's a bit weird. So he didn't say it. Someone was checking the records and saw that
exactly. That nothing to do with Tory
had
Lanez.
Oh, okay,
disappeared.
sorry, my
The
mistake.
date got changed. So the date got changed. People are like, someone not said, "Oh, the case has been dropped because you can't find this case no more." But it's because it got changed. So she jumped the gun thinking something else.
I think that the issue though is that he does indirect her a lot, even with this. Let's say
Do you have
that
an
this
example?
error came up. He doesn't need to do anything, just keep quiet.
Actually, this is where I disagree with you. I think he has to. What he's doing right now, what I think was pissing off more than anything else, the fact that he's living life as normal. And I think that's really pissing off because most people in this situation, they would go and hide under a rock and try to wait till everything blows over. And he's doing a complete opposite. He's just putting himself out there. He's making new music, making new music videos. He's out in clubs. He's out and about. He's showing you that he's on private jets and that his life is unchanged.
And I think
And I
he's
think
doing that
that's-
because he knows he's gonna beat the case. And I think he
I-
knows he's innocent.
I think
Yeah, so you're saying
David is jumping the gun. He doesn't.
It might be.
I
It
really
might-
think we have to wait.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna wait. I'm gonna put money on it. Tory's innocent.
That's fine.
Wait,
You can put money on
sorry.
it. I think I think the song, the album that he dropped after it is what turned me against him.
Yeah,
It's not that you can live your life as much as you want. I don't care about him going on. That's not a deal. That's not a deal for me. The case hasn't. No, he's out on bail.
I disagree with that. He was singing for his
It sounded-
life. You know what I mean?
It sounded like hot trash.
What?
The fact is, that could have been a statement. That album could have been one statement.
Hmm.
It didn't need to be an album.
But I much preferred it being an album because there was a few bops on there.
You see, that's what I don't like. I don't like having a serious, like a matter that is not settled as a bop. That should not be.
Yeah.
It's a serious matter. It's a case of someone shooting someone you claim to like something that you should never even fucking do. And you're making a song out of that. I'm sorry. Wait till it's over.
Yeah.
He can have all of that written.
Everyone.
I mean,
like loads of people against him. He was addressing everyone who was, because you have to think from his perspective, the entire industry has turned against him, and everyone's ran behind Meg. And if he is innocent, from his perspective, he's like, how are they listening to this lie? Because like you can look at Tory and think, oh, this all looks wrong, but then look at the way Meg's reacting.
this is what I was going to comment on. Go on.
Oh yeah, no, you continue.
Yeah, because this is the funny thing with regards to both of their reactions. Megan Thee Stallion is, in my opinion, she is a social climber. She's the type of person who will throw rocks and hide her hands. No doubt, she's been exposed for it a lot recently. However, that does not mean that this situation has not occurred, and both of their reactions to it could be interpreted in very different ways. I personally find his reaction to it, if she's reacting that way, you don't need to, he's actually feeding off this energy. He is. You can see he is. And I don't think it's so much that everyone's taking her side and turned against him. I think it's a very 50-50 split overall.
Nah,
and I think he knows it, and I think he exploits it.
It really was a 50-50. All the big artists came out to defend Meg and get in her corner straight away. I saw that. Even like someone
No,
like
I'm talking about the public.
Yeah, but then what happens if you have big artists going in Meg's
It
corner?
doesn't matter.
And
If the public
their fan
support,
base,
the public support.
their fan base then follows them. That's how it goes. So I want to say one other thing as well before we move on. Yeah, I want to say that people keep looking at it as I think a big part of what's happening here is people looking at it as a defenseless woman and a man taking the piss out of her, right, or whatever. But they're not looking at the fact that Megan Thee Stallion is bigger than Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez is a tiny guy. Megan's probably bullying him, and she has a history of doing it as well. But anyway, that's
just speculation. You just threw something out there. You have no idea if that happened or not.
The thing is,
I mean, to be honest, we
history.
speculated.
Megan Thee Stallion has a history of beating up her partners.
random.
Meg has a history of beating up a former boyfriend. So what are you talking about?
fair
Okay,
enough.
so let's just wait. Like Tomboxe
That's not speculation.
said, I want to pronounce your name correctly. I'm so sorry if I messed
Tomboxe.
up.
Tomboxe.
Tomboxe.
Yeah.
As he said, we
right.
need to wait and just wait for this situation to play out, because all this speculation, it just fuels the issue, doesn't it?
Cool.
It does.
What's the next topic?
So can we talk about the Trump pardons?
And who
Talk
would
about
we
Lil
talk about?
Wayne.
Ha ha ha.
What do you think about Lil
Yeah,
Wayne's pardon?
I just always knew like that there was something dodgy happening there. Though I understood that Lil Pump was doing it for relevancy, but I
And
didn't
money. He
quite
needed
get
money.
money. but I didn't quite get Lil Wayne's reasoning. But then it made sense once his case came to light with regards to him carrying a gun. I think was it to an airport,
And
something
that's why I
similar
didn't
to
take
what
the deal
Ti
that
did.
they offered him.
I
Because
don't
remember,
think
he
it was
was
in the airport, but yeah,
Exactly,
he got
and
caught with a gun again, and it would have been a very
yeah,
prominent
and
one.
it was. I think we spoke about in the pod when we were talking about Lil Wayne selling his catalog as
Mm.
well
I don't think it's.
because he needed
And
the
there
I
was
don't
cash.
Kodak
think
Black
that's
too.
together. I think it's a different thing. That
No, it definitely is together
Mm.
because if Lil Wayne goes away, then he needs a cash reserve to look after his family,
I
isn't
feel
it?
like Lil Wayne would have continued to get
Like,
paid. Remember, he only got 40 or 50 million from Birdman recently, like quite a couple of years ago. I don't think. I think the Lil Wayne selling his masters, yeah, sits in line with a lot of other people doing the same deal in recent
but it
times.
wasn't his masters, was it? It was Young Money's.
It was everybody's Young Money. It was his or Young Money, whoever. But it
Oh,
was like a lot of people have been doing the same deal recently. I was reading up about I was reading an article about it earlier in the week, and essentially there's like a mad shark pool right now of investment firms and investment funds or whatever trying to step up all the market for this, because essentially as things go by with the streaming industry growing larger, that's where the money's going to be going forward, and you have an opportunity for some people to get a lot of capital right now because of the low interest rates. But
that's exactly what I said. Like last podcast when we were talking about hypnosis,
yeah,
like the stream.
that's fine.
Yeah, when we were talking about it, it's a lot
It
of these
yeah,
companies are now purchasing for the long
and they can
term.
afford to
It's
sit in
not
for a
for the
long time
short term.
when people with the artists like want to cash out now. So it makes sense on one side and doesn't on the other. But
Yeah.
also is the fact that whoever holds the most records or the most rights to whatever songs then has much more power in the industry as well. It's a big power play going on here.
Exactly.
But
Well,
I
go
feel
ahead.
like the main thing for him was the pardon from Trump was he wanted to get out. There's something here that I want to say, and I was thinking about it. I've been deliberating it over the last couple of days. That what would I do in a situation? And I'm thinking to myself from my perspective, and I'm also trying to think about it from the Wayne's perspective. Is you're facing say 10 years in prison, and you have an opportunity here to essentially sell your people out and told to vote for a president that you know will be bad for them, or just do your time. And I thought to myself, what would I really do being in that position? It's easy for me to say right now, oh, I would just do the time and never tell my people to do the wrong thing. But at the same time, I think for him, he probably is fair in like basically just losing a whole chapter of his life behind bars, and it's a difficult decision. But at the same time, I also know that Lil Wayne doesn't really care anything about the black struggle or anything like that. He said it before on in an interview that he doesn't really care about that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
So I don't think he was really considering at all how Trump going in for another term could affect the black population in America.
One thing I'd also mention, with regards to Trump and his pardons, he also pardoned
Kodak.
a lady by, oh yeah, Kodak of course, but the Rock Nation CEO, I think her name's Rosie D. She snitched on the Mexican cartel basically, um, and somehow managed to get her way to become Rock Nation CEO. So it's always interesting when Meek Mill's saying, "Oh, I don't like snitches," when his boss is a
Mm,
snitch.
mm.
Um, like I think that's been spoken about. But yeah, she got pardoned, but they're saying that the conditions for her being pardoned, allegedly, were that Jay-Z and Beyonce were not to endorse Joe Biden and Kamala's presidential run.
Yeah,
And true to, I don't think they did compared to like how active they were with Obama. I don't think I saw a peep from
and
Beyonce and
Hillary.
Jay Z.
They're active
Correct
for
me.
Hillary
Yeah,
as well.
Mm.
I
yeah.
feel like
So
everybody. Okay, let's say a lot of people love Jay Z and Beyonce, and sometimes I do want to love them as well for what they have done. But I always think to myself that everything they do is just like it's a transaction for them.
It is.
I don't think anything is ever just from the heart. It's always like, it seems to be,
It's
there's some sort of
transactional.
gain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even like when, like,
Yeah.
was it last year, the year before, when Jay-Z decided that we're gonna stop kneeling now because we're past that, we've got to go and move forward, and then the next thing you know, he's signing a deal with the NFL, and I was like, what?
Mm.
This guy, what are you on? And everyone was like, oh no, he's doing the right thing. Like, this is foolishness. Next thing you know, there's more police killings, there's more stuff going on that's just like messing up the black people in America, and but it's okay because now Jay-Z is getting money for the NFL to do concerts or whatever during the matches. It's like, I just thought this is stupid. But yeah, that is my thought on that. I don't understand why Kodak Black was pardoned. I don't get the angle there at all. I
If
don't
anyone
understand
was
that.
meant to be pardoned, it should have been him. I'm talking about in the hip hop industry
Fair enough.
because the grounds for his arrest didn't really. Like, I can't remember what
Fuck
they were,
Kodak
but
Black, bro. I don't care, man. He's an idiot. No, do you know what it is? Yeah? Do you know what it is, Kodak? Yeah, like honestly, it's what he said about Lauren London after Nipsey Hussle died. I couldn't believe it. Nipsey Hussle's body wasn't even cold yet, and he was trying to say, "Oh yeah, Lauren, I can have you now, whatever else," and he said it in the most disgusting way. And I was like, "No, this is mad. Like, you would never do that if Nipsey Hussle was alive. Like,
Of
that
course
is
not.
a mad disrespect. Mad disrespect. Like, I'll never forgive that, man."
Mm.
And like Nipsey again, that's a rapper that I really appreciate because for me, when a rapper like literally lives the life that they rap about and they're trying to actually uplift people as well,
It's
I,
different.
I love that, and yeah, that's what he was doing. So I felt very passionate about that one.
So let me just ask: do you think that this is going to change the snitching culture? Because 6ix9ine broke the internet with what he did, but with Lil Wayne, and in fact, this is something that somebody brought up. I don't know if it was Fat Joe who was supporting the fact that Lil Wayne has been. I don't know. Don't quote me. I'm just trying to think back now. Supporting the fact that Wayne's been pardoned, but then people were saying, well, he sold out in order to get that pardon in a seriously grotesque way.
But he didn't
So
snitch though.
is it the
Snitching
same
is
thing,
very
the
different.
equivalent?
Snitching is very different than this. He didn't put anyone by him doing this. He didn't directly put someone in prison or anything like that. He didn't give up information that's going to put someone in prison or anything like that. So I don't see it as
Do
the
you
same
think
thing.
it's going to change the way the culture views cooperation
Yeah,
with the police?
I think it's already changed because I think that the culture is no longer what it used to be.
Mm.
Mhm.
The main people that listen to the music are not people that are
About that life.
yeah, exactly. So if someone's a snitch or not, it makes a difference to them as long as the beats popping, as long as they can turn up to it. That's what they care about.
So I'll say this: the culture changed in 2003.
50 Cent.
Tell me, this is someone who knows it about. 50 Cent came out and said on a song, "I am not going to jail, not even to visit a nigga," and nobody said shit.
Yeah, that's true.
It was done. People
I
accepted
think
that with open arms. It was done.
I feel like with 50 though, because he just sees it. He has no loyalty to anybody. 50 is literally like a lot of rappers have gang ties or whatever.
He doesn't have any of
50,
that. He doesn't care.
yeah, he relinquished them, and he's just all about himself. So when he said that, I completely believe it. But then he sees himself as like a one man army. But I
does.
don't think he was. People say he's a snitch anyway, don't they?
They
And maybe
do, but I mean, who is he snitching on? Who does he have loyalty to that he's snitching on?
there
Yeah,
you
I
go,
think the
there you
loyalty
go.
went away when sorry, he got set up. So I think once he got set up, he was
It was
like,
done.
Yeah.
I'm turning my back on the streets. I don't trust no one.
Yeah.
Like very few people that he hung around the street cats, he still hangs around with now.
But then they do say that it's like the honor among thieves, whereby you wouldn't even snitch on your enemy because you're meant to get your enemy yourself. But I really do think that I think a lot of that sort of stuff is bullshit for movies, if you like. And in reality, a lot of people are just snitching anyway.
Of course, they've always. The thing is, they've always been snitching. I mean, and we know it, they know it, but it doesn't sound good on wax. So they don't say it. So the whole idea, I mean, the people who are most about that life are 16 and 17-year-olds who have no idea what prison is like, but hear these things on songs and go and try and be about that life, and then end up in prison and go and get to like 30 and 30 and be like, oh shit, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Well, all right, I'm going to wrap this up here because we have to talk about a very big subject next, which is the Danileigh Colourism, Rick Ross, that whole situation. And I think we're going to need a fair bit of time to dive in. Is that okay? Should we
Let's
get
jump
going?
in. Explain the situation.
Okay, so have you been following this, Tomboxe?
Indeed, I have.
Okay, Tombox, I'm so sorry. Tombox.
I haven't though. I haven't been following it.
Okay. Well, we did tell you. Anyway, go on. Carry on. Okay.
So, if you are aware, you will be aware, you should be aware, that Danileigh has recently come under fire for a song, that's a snippet of a song that she put out called Yellowbone, in which she basically says Yellowbone is what he wants.
Can you explain what Yellowbone is for our listeners?
Well, a yellowbone is essentially, I'm assuming it would be equivalent to somebody who's considered high yellow, a person of mixed black ancestry who has.
For our Londoners who are listening, it's a lighty, basically.
It's a lighty, yes, it's a lighty.
Oh no.
Yes, it's one of my people, of course. So, what was I going to say? So yeah, so she's come under fire for this, and I think we should just open the floor up to discussion. How do we feel about this, guys? I want to get the opinion of some young black men. See how you guys feel about it.
No, actually, I'm interested to get your opinion as the resident lighty. Like, what's your opinion?
How you feel?
I was really, really disgusted. I am not just. I mean, for me, I think you guys already know how I feel
By
about
the
this
reaction,
Pardon?
by the reaction to her lyrics, or by
I
her,
was
by
disgusted
Danileigh
that
herself?
in this day and age, a woman, a woman of her age and her being in the industry surrounded by black people, surely you should know what discussions are being had surrounding colorism in the industry. But then at the same time, I only became familiar with her in the last few weeks, and immediately when I saw her aesthetic, I thought, okay, you blackfish for a living. That's what you do. But we're so desensitized to it now, in my opinion, that sometimes people just let it slide. Well, a lot of times people just let it slide, and she really gets away with it. And with that in mind, I'm not surprised she would have the gumption to come out with even a snippet of a song where she's saying Yellowbone is what he wants, especially considering she's not even black. I thought maybe she was like,
Oh no.
put in?
Wait, is she
No,
not?
she's not
No.
black.
Oh no.
She a little white girl.
Where's she
She
from?
she is Latina. She's not even, Cardi B was dragged into this because she identifies as Afro-Latina. So this girl, Danileigh, tried to say, well, she can release that music because she's Afro-Latina. So people dragged up receipts and showed that she's in fact she has her DNA results up online. She put them out a long time ago. And she's more Spanish than she is black. So she's not an Afro-Latina, so to speak.
Well,
She hasn't grown up as an Afro-Latina. She grew up as a white Latinx person. Do you get what I mean?
I get what you mean. I want to just point out as well that, just to give a bit more clarity here, normally black people or people with a deeper level of melanin that live in the Latino space, if you like, so South America and some of the Caribbean islands, they do not consider themselves to be black. Even if they are very dark skinned, they consider themselves to be Latino. And that's it.
And
they don't really pull from their African culture.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. And
but
they have the right to identify in that way.
Of course, but you can literally have like a person with an afro and dark skin, like proper dark skin, and they'll be like, no, I'm not black, I'm Latino. So
well, that's that's absolutely fine. That's not the discussion, though. The discussion here is about being light-skinned.
Okay, my point is that is what she is. The melanin in her comes from someone that is like that. They're not a natural black person.
The melanin in who?
In Danileigh, she has.
Have you seen her without a tan?
She's not completely white. Okay, she's got She got something in her. Okay, my point is that that's why
But she
why there's
doesn't
questions
live the
like that.
black experience.
That is different now, because now we're
No,
talking
it's
about
not,
this.
because blackness is
Okay,
no,
let me
your
finish.
experience
Let
of
me
blackness
finish. Let me
matters.
finish. Let me finish. The difference here is that you may appear to be one thing, but you can be something else. So, for example, Logic. Logic looks like a white man, right? But he's actually half and half. Now, so when he says that I'm mixed race and I'm black or whatever, that is a fact, okay? But he doesn't look
Can
it.
I just ask? Can I
Whereas
just ask you, who are you talking to right now? Like, you know me. What color
I'm
is my
talking,
skin?
you're white.
I look like a white woman, do I not? So you were literally
Yeah.
talking to someone who lives the
But my
experience.
point is that with her, Danileigh, she never actually lived the experience as a black person at all. She doesn't see that at all. That's what I'm saying. There's a difference here in what's being said here. So when she's saying what she's saying, I'm not saying it's coming from a place of ignorance or literally or actually not knowing. I'm saying that it makes even less sense, as you said yourself, because of the fact that she's not really considered herself black at all. So why would you call yourself that? A yellow boy is someone that's a light-skinned black person more than anything else, even beyond being a mixed race person. But anyway, that's that.
Well, a
But I
yellow
think
bone person can be mixed.
it can be mixed, but
It's
usually,
kind of the one.
honestly,
It's the one drop rule, isn't it? That's kind of what it
usually it's
relates
actually a
to.
light-skinned black person. Like who just like
Well,
that's
well,
what
Wait,
I've
anyway,
seen.
I'm
let's
gonna I'm gonna be I'm gonna be controversial here, right? I'm gonna be
Oh
controversial
no.
here. What I don't understand, right? I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Is her appearance looks like, as in light skin black.
Especially with
I
the braids
get
and her
that
politics.
maybe it's similar. It's similar to the whole mulatto situation. Her kind of using terms that were used during slavery. Um, I get that part, but what I don't get is nowadays we use such terms to empower ourselves. Essentially, why can't mixed race women do the same?
because
Because well,
because what she did was
actually,
not to empower her. You don't empower yourself by devaluing it and disempowering another group. That's what the issue is here.
But is that what she
Yes,
said? Did
because
she say that that's what
yes,
he
because the
wants?
context. If you look at the wider social and historical context of what she has said, she's not speaking in a vacuum in a world where colorism doesn't exist. So she's
if
speaking
you
in a world where colorism exists and affects women, black women.
But could she just be speaking to her boyfriend
She
who's
wasn't.
black?
No, she wasn't. She was actually no, she wasn't. She wasn't. If you know the situation, she wasn't. And
if
even
you
if
would
she
even
was, keep that in the bedroom. That's between you two and your rotten selves. You don't put that energy out into the universe for young
if you would even
brown
turn this further,
women.
right, you could even just take
No,
this to
hold on.
like
Let me just speak. Let me just speak. For young brown women to hear that, um, a woman who isn't even black, who blackfishes, they're watching this. Young black women are watching this, talking about how a black man wants her. And that's what you're putting out into the public space in a world where we already know that black women deal with so much when it comes to just being considered remotely attractive,
I feel
you know, and all
I
the other
feel like I'm
abuse.
missing additional context here. I feel like I'm missing additional context. You said that she's not singing it directly
No,
to
she's
her
talking to his
boyfriend, right?
baby
So
mums.
is she right? And is she black? Is she like
Yes, she
dark
is.
skin? Right.
So
Okay,
there's
I
this been
understand
this
that. Okay,
situation
cool.
going back quite a while now. I think since sometime last year, before they came out publicly, where he was basically having a lot of issues with his baby mother. He always has issues with her, and then he goes and he comes, and in fact, he even got another woman pregnant. I think that woman's still pregnant right now. Who knows? At the same time, he was also sleeping allegedly with Danileigh, and there were even text messages and so on that were exposed. Danileigh, so basically she was seeing him while he was in and out of that relationship. And so they've had a sort of on and off argument, her and the baby mother, online, going back and forth via social media. And this seems, a lot of people believe this is just like the culmination of that issue. So, yeah.
Okay, I want to say one of the things, right, is that you've got to be pretty tone deaf to not understand that saying that is wrong. And even if you want to say that it's not that big a deal, right? In South Africa, they had the apartheid system, and literally, as a light-skinned person, you were given more privileges than someone that was darker skinned, even if you were both black, right? So there's no way you're going to tell me that that anyone could tell me. So you're not saying anyone here is telling me that about in this wider conversation. No one can say that there's not an issue here, a colorism issue between light-skinned people and dark-skinned people. But just to flip it around though, and play devil's advocate, is it wrong for a light-skinned lady to be proud of her skin color?
It's not.
No.
No. Go on.
No,
Go on.
it's definitely not wrong for a light skinned lady to be proud of her skin color, but there's a difference between saying, "Oh, I look good," and saying, "You know what, I am what he wants." When you know that there's a context to that, there's a context to darker skinned women being not. I mean, when we were talking about my videos, one of the things you said was, "Oh, you're featuring women who are not generally considered attractive," that mentality exists. So when you lean into that privilege you have as a lighter skinned woman, you're not helping anybody. You're not helping yourself. You're not helping light skinned women. You're not helping dark skinned women. You're just being ignorant for no reason.
Manny, you actually asked me what my opinion is on this as a light skinned privileged black woman. And I have to say, I personally, the reason this hits so hard for me is because I am the product of black women, right? And I have lived both experiences of being in the diaspora and experiencing racism here in places where I don't pass for white. And then I have also experienced being part of the Ghanaian community and being at the top of the totem pole and being considered the ideal when it comes to beauty, aesthetic, all of that, because I am light skinned, because of the color of my eyes and things like that. And traversing both of these, situations, I have to tell you, you are privileged. Any light-skinned woman who says she's not privileged because of the color of her skin is lying. You are privileged because of it, because of colorism. And one sec, sorry. And you can choose to lean into that if you want to. What I find so offensive about this situation is she's
Feel
not
the fire in her voice, man.
no,
Fuck it
she's
up.
not even a black woman. Look, this is the issue. This is really the issue. In society, we have a pyramid when it comes to, how race,
Hierarchy.
the hierarchy, exactly. And when you're white, you're at the top of that. And then at the bottom is when you're black. And then within the black community, we have another hierarchy. And at the top is the closer you are to white, the closer you are to the top, right? What some people do is, like Danileigh, she will exploit that. She'll say, you know what, she's a small fish in a big pond when it comes to the hierarchy in society, generally speaking. But when it comes to the black community, she can tan her skin, braid her hair, and put herself at the top of that pyramid above everybody else and insert herself when she's not even a black woman. And that's what she's doing. She's exploiting that for her benefit, and it's horrible because she exploits black women's culture on top of it to take away from black women. I'm really disgusted by it, if you can't tell.
Well, everyone, thanks for attending Afia's TED Talk.
Afia came with that fire and
No,
brimstone,
it's true,
bro.
because as a light-skinned black woman with black
Guys, I'm not sure if you heard
grandmother
this.
and a black mother and black cousins and people who I love to death, who are all black women, aunties, everybody. When I see this kind of thing happens, it hurts me. It really actually does. And I feel like it's so divisive as well, because I grew up in an environment where I had to I have to sit in the middle, and it's difficult because of the division in society to it just exists as a mixed person sometimes, because society will put so many things on you. When people do things like she did, you make that issue much worse. So, yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys know this, right? But Afi is actually light skin. No, but I do hear what you're saying, and I've realised I've come across a few light skinned people that actually do feel almost apologetic for the fact that they're light skinned. I'm not saying you're sorry for being light skinned, but I mean that
No. I am who
you
I am. What
no,
I
I
don't
know
like
that. I
is
know. Let me
yeah,
finish. But you witness the differences that how you're treated compared to
yeah.
others. And when it's someone else that you love, that you cherish, and you see them treated worse than you because just simply because of the color or the shade or tone of their skin, it affects you. And I know that it's something that affects Ollie as well, being light skinned also. So, so yeah, it's really something. But I just think to myself that
Sorry, I was on mute all that time. We're the
what
same
the
tone.
main thing is,
I'm
yeah,
a
the
shade
main
darker than
nah,
you.
Ollie, you're light
I'm
skinned like
like
Chris Brown,
literally,
man.
I'm literally the same
You're
color
light
as
skinned
Manny.
like Chris Brown. I'm dark anyway.
Oh
My point
my
is,
days.
my
Matty,
point
you
is,
think
As
that, right?
well
my
is
point
I
is,
am a shade darker than Matt.
my point
can
is,
we
yeah.
just talk about her apology after the fact as well and how
The
trash
apology,
her apology was?
it wasn't even an apology, was it? She just basically said that this is what happened, and she didn't mean to offend anyone, but I don't think she actually apologized. And I also find it was quite funny that she had her hair in braids as well,
Can I also
blonde
point out,
blonde braids at that.
some people, when they do this blackfishing thing, they do it consciously, right? And this is where I knew she does it consciously. And, you can do something and then justify it in your mind. You can do some cognitive dissonance and kind of like rationalize what you're doing. But she knows what she's doing. And the reason I say that is because before this issue, she has been on record identifying as a non-black person, right? And then as soon as this happened, she started talking about being Afro Latina. She knew what look, this girl's not silly. And then on top of that, when she should have come back and apologized for it, she doubled down and then came out with that
I'm gonna stop. I'm
listen.
gonna say one last thing on this, right? One last thing. I think the issue here, right, and this is something I always come back to about hip hop in general, and it's that the gatekeepers of this, like, I know it's gonna sound sexist, but whatever. It's black men. Or at least it should be black men because we're the ones that started it, right? Now, what we allow is what we allow, and that is why these things happen. Whether it's white artists coming and taking the piss, people like 6ix9ine coming in screaming nigger every 5 minutes, or someone like Danileigh coming in and blackfishing. Like, I don't know if she actually is blackfishing or not. I think that's a bit of not I would say it's outrageous, but it's a bit. I'm not sure if she's actually doing that, but there are others that have done it. So we allow this to happen, and she's gonna go and release a song, and you know what? It's gonna be a lot of black people that are gonna set the trend, saying that song should be listened to. That's what we don't understand. Like, we have the power, but we let everyone abuse it. So as much as I hear what you're saying about Danileigh and all that sort of stuff, I feel like it's a lot of the blame at some point has to fall on her own shoulders for allowing it to happen in the first place. She's dating the baby. Has he come out and said anything? Has he told her that she's wrong? Has he done anything in any sort of way to try to make things right? I don't think he has. But again, are we going to go and stream his record when it comes out next time? Absolutely. So what are we mad about, really? That's what I'm saying essentially.
And I think one thing, I think colorism in itself is very sensitive subject within our community. Like, I think you're all right. Yeah, she should definitely know better, especially if she's sending a message to her partner's ex. Like, don't use your platform for that because you're sending an irresponsible message to the hundreds or millions of young girls that follow you. Like, and it just makes you look ignorant. And I think, yeah, she showed her ass like on this. Should she be cancelled? I don't think she should be
No, she's
cancelled,
too fine
but
for
I
that.
do think she should. I think she should be. She should make a lesson or take a lesson from this, and then move on. Just make a good apology and then move on. Like, just no. yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
You know what, right? I know for a fact that there'll be no negative impact for her because look at what happened to Doja Cat. Doja Cat was in
Doja Cat is
chat
a black
rooms,
woman.
yeah,
It's a different
like
thing.
letting a whole bunch of white men talk bad about black women and saying how she hates black women as well. Said that I think she was even saying that she's not really black or whatever. And you know what? After that all happened, she went to #1. So nothing bad's gonna happen to Danileigh. Her career's fine. She's gonna pattern up and make more money. So yeah,
I ain't listened to Doja
Well,
Cat
what?
soon.
So okay,
neither have
so
I. But I didn't in the first place either. To be fair.
okay. I guess. All right, no, forget it. It's fine.
Okay, so guys, okay, thanks for joining the podcast this week. You know what? We didn't even do any socials. I think we should start off with Tomboxe. Could you give us your socials and let us know where we can find you, where we can follow you, and again, your album name and where we can listen to it?
Okay, so I am Tomboxe everywhere. So Tomboxe on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere. The album is called Does the Andrian, and it's available on streaming platforms. Whether you have to pay a subscription or you don't, it's everywhere for you to enjoy.
Beautiful. Manny,
Don't forget to look out for his new video dropping
Yeah,
this
On
this
week.
Friday.
yeah,
Yay,
we'll get that on our socials as well. Make sure we push that.
for sure.
And
Cool.
yeah, Manny, give us our socials.
So everyone, like us, like and subscribe on YouTube, the EarSauce podcast. Follow us on Twitter, EarSauce_. Follow us on Instagram, EarSauce_. Send us your thoughts, any tracks that you want us to listen to, any music that you want us to review. Yeah, and just keep in touch. Or if you just want to keep in touch, drop us a message. You can holler at me if you want to speak to me personally. On Twitter, Emmanuel Yates 90. Matt, what are your
I want to
socials?
give it to like my light skinned friend Ollie first. What does he want to say?
As the resident dark skinned person in the pod today, you can find me at OC_Clark_10, and I will share images of my arm so you can appreciate this 95% dark cocoa chocolate man that I am. You troll, Matt.
And light skin Afia, what's your socials?
EarSauce.afia.
Lovely, lovely. I am.
Did she say gassed up live?
Oh man.
You can find me on Twitter.
No, sorry, that's Matt's. That was Matt's.
Never be,
Yeah.
never be. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Matty Lee, and you can find me on Instagram at Mr_Matty Lee. Guys, thank you. I really enjoyed this discussion today. So thanks for joining, Tomboxe. Wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you.
You're always welcome back on this podcast. You've been a great joy to have actually on here. You're interested to hear your
Our
views
first
on
guest.
stuff that we spoke about. So yeah, it was nice to hear you on here today, man.
Yeah, thank you, and I'll be delighted to come back. Just
Beautiful, beautiful. And on that bombshell, good night, guys. See ya.
Boom.
EarSauce.